Nice guys finish last. It's a well-known expression. Who do they lose to? Well, they must lose to the guys who are not nice. I'm not sure that's true. I don't think that nice guys do come last. Tell me what you think. So if you're not a nice guy, what are you? Well, you're obviously a winner. A leader of men, perhaps, someone determined, bullying, somebody psychopathic, sociopathic. Perhaps you're one of those kind of, those are your main characteristics. And that enables you to sort of, push everybody else out of the way and come first. What do we mean by come first? Well, we don't mean a running race, do we? We mean come first in all those aspects of life to which we have goals like, becoming wealthy, becoming rich, becoming powerful, having the trophy wife or trophy husband even. That's, I think, what we mean by coming first. The nice guys, I'm afraid they just fall away. But I don't believe that. I think that nice guys do come first. But yes, we have to think about what happens to these sociopathic, not nice guys, because where are they heading? If they're coming first, that means there's a race to somewhere. What is this place that they are or we are all racing to? The question is whether or not that race is worth running, and what happens when you lift the trophy. And also what happens to the so-called nice guy or girl who doesn't seem to have won the race. Where are they? Are they still sort of on the field, bogged down in mud? I don't know. Let's think about it. So this is all about how we perceive ourselves in the world, how we are in the world. Are we a nice guy, loser, or are we a sociopathic winner? Now, I don't know whether all winners are sociopaths. That may not be true, although statistically, apparently, you could actually say that there has been research into CEOs, and they do tend to have narcissistic, sociopathic types of personalities. But anyway, in order to win, somebody has to lose, and that you have to out-compete with them. So, I don't know. It's not something that everybody wants to get involved with. So there must be some distinguishing factor about somebody who wants to win at all costs. I've mentioned before about one of my I was going to say favourite, but I wouldn't say that. I'd say pivotal books, The Fall of Public Man by Richard Sennett, an old book from the early 70s or late 60s. I like this book because he basically says that the obsession, which has now completely taken over, that we have to constantly be authentic in the world, that we have to carry our inner selves into the public forum, into the public space all of the time. He says that this is a new phenomena and that it's not really helpful. It's not helpful for social cohesion. It's not helpful for human psychology. The idea that we have to try and find some authentic core, which we then present to the world at every single opportunity. And that if we are denied being able to present our authentic emotional self in all its glory and frankly in all its boringness at every opportunity in the public sphere, then we're being betrayed. We've been denied something that we are entitled to. Richard Sennett says that this is all a load of rubbish, and that since sort of human societies have been around, we've had a kind of accepted the fact that we've had a public face, that we go out into the public forum, the public sphere, with a kind of almost like I wouldn't say neutral characteristic, but something that is not in any way offensive, something which serves the purpose of kind of respecting the society that you're in, a neutral stance of kind of fellowship. So that there is this, we can have these public debates in a way, or these public interactions without being antagonistic for the sake of it, if you like. Okay. Now, we obviously have private lives as well, but there was a difference between the private life and the public life. Now it's all got mixed up, and of course, you cannot act in a sort of gracious and civilized way now in a public forum, because people would just think you're absolutely crazy. They just throw stones at you, because if you don't have to, it doesn't matter what you do now. I mean, you are now in the stocks, if you like. You know what the stocks are? Those old medieval wooden structure that they used to lock you in, and the locals would come and throw tomatoes at you. Well, that's what social media is, basically. Social media is simply just people who have decided that they are critics or fiction writers just shouting. But there you go. That's another subject, of course. So we're told that we go out into the world and we want to be a winner. We don't want to be a nice guy, because they're losers. We want to be a winner. We want to be strong. We've got to be determined. We have to be highly competitive, of course. I mean, can you imagine how exhausting that is in reality? Being endlessly competitive. I mean, for 20, 30 years, until you're burnt out and exhausted. But anyway, there you go. We have to be tough, real boxing, clever, tough. We have to be a leader among men. But really, we have to be a bully. We have to be sociopathic, that kind of thing. But, most of us can't really do that. We aspire to that to some extent, don't we? Because we all want something, because we believe in the stories and the myths and the romantic ideas that we can somehow find salvation in something out there. And I keep saying that I don't think anybody should be poor. I mean, that's an absolute nightmare. And I don't think anybody should be in pain. But I think that there is no gold at the end of any of these rainbows. And I think it's quite clear, actually, if you just think about it, or just read people's biographies. You'll soon see that there is a great fall. So we can't be, many of us haven't really got that personality. So we adopt other kind of characteristics or personality. We become a kind of personality type that we think might help us navigate through this world. How do most of us go into the world then? Well, if we're not the winners, if we're not the leaders of men, what are we? Well, if you're not successful with the women, you become an incel, don't you? All right, and we know what an incel is. That's not a very nice place to be. You know what happens there? I'm sure you've all seen the Joker film. We become angry. We go into the world angry. We wake up a little bit angry or a little bit anxious. I'm not saying that it's hell on earth out there. Most people are just getting on with their lives. We're a bit resentful, aren't we? We're a little bit bitter, really, deep down, because we couldn't be the winner, the leader of men. Now, I'm trying to tell you that that isn't a path you want to go down anyway, in my opinion. Now, what I say, of course, won't affect anything, because there is a compulsion in man to, there is a will to power, a will of desire, a will to try and sort of notch up various victories in life. And it's a compulsion, but really it's an illness. And it's an illness which has been propagated by certain people who kind of make money out of this kind of thing. We go out into the world, we're a bit full of self-pity, we're a bit grumpy, we're full of Schadenfreude, aren't we? Schadenfreude. We kind of a little bit enjoy a little bit when someone else, is struggling or I don't know, like it's like Gore Vidal said, wasn't it? That every time one of my friends becomes successful, a little part of me dies. We're grumpy, we're miserable, we shuffle our feet along, we wear these brown anoraks, and we are a little bit passive aggressive, we're scowling, and that's how we kind of present ourselves. Do we try anything else? No, I mean, we're either one or the other, aren't we, to some extent? But you know, there's nothing pleasant about the personalities of the aforementioned winners, the non-nice guys. They're not pleasant people to be around. I guess the ultimate dream is to be charismatic. The problem with being charismatic, the problem with charisma, is it's not really something you can just adopt when you want to. It's not something that you can really learn, like lots of other things. You can't learn to be charismatic. You know, walking into a room and like changes the whole atmosphere of the room kind of charismatic. You can't do any of those things. So what are you going to be? You probably can't be necessarily the winner, because for every winner there are 50 losers. So we're going to be one of the losers. But we don't want to walk around being bitter, resentful, grumpy, full of self-pity and that kind of thing. So I've got an idea, and it's an idea which is based on the fact that the nice guys actually are the winners in the end. Now, where do I pick this up from? Well, only from what I've seen, what I've read, and the stories of people's lives. Lots of personal experience, of course, as well. Is that by and large, those so-called winners are among the most unhappy people I know. I mean, they're tragically unhappy. Because they are an obnoxious personality type, often, they lose their friends along the way. Their relationships break down. Things go wrong in their lives. And they find out there's very little at the end of their journey. You know, they hold the trophy up, but soon that trophy just sort of melts away, and they've devoted an entire life to it. So what happens with the nice guy? Okay, who is the nice guy? Well, you and I and everybody, we can all be the nice guy. And what do I mean by that? Well, I'm talking about just being affable. Yes, it's not a very sexy word. Being affable. What does affable mean? It means easygoing, easy to talk to. An affable guy. You can't be charismatic. You can't just be somebody of charisma, but you can be an affable guy. It's quite easy to be an affable guy. You can just decide to be affable. You know, it means letting go of that tension, that anxiety, that cynicism, that distrust, that sort of ebullient, sort of rather unpleasant, spiky side of your personality. You could just do it for an hour, maybe try an hour a day. The affable guys, they're the guys who've really made a success of their lives. The ones that I know, these are the nice guys. Why? Well, because as they approach 55, 60, 65, they're the guys who've still got all their friends. The ones from childhood and new ones along the way. They're the ones whose relationships, by and large, have worked. And they're the ones who are still in relationships. It might not be their first marriage, but maybe they're on a second marriage, because that's just part of the world now. But they are in relationships. People like them. People want to know them. People like to stay in touch with these people. They like to see them. They like to work with them. So yeah, they might not have become the CEO, but by and large, they will be employed, and they will be the sort of people that an employer doesn't particularly want to see to see go, because they're pleasant to work with, because they are affable. Generally, their relationships are richer. Now, these are the nice guys. Now, my experience is that these nice guys, these affable guys, and we'll talk about how do you approach, is there a word like affability? I don't know. But, I'm talking in the future about how you might achieve such a wonderful status as being affable, because it's very, very difficult, actually, in some ways. Although it should be easy, you can just adopt it. This obviously, we're involved in a racket, a corrupt criminal racket with ourselves, because we have self-entitlement and we have resentment. And you know what resentment's like. It's like a sort of crack that goes right through you. It's not just a surface thing you can brush off, resentment. It's deep inside you, and you won't let it go. Pride as well. We talked about pride. You can't let go of pride. But I know many affable guys. I'm not affable. I'd like to be affable, actually. I think it would be good. It's probably a little bit late for me to take on the affability, although it would be good if I tried a little bit harder, I think. But the guys I know who are affable, they're the happiest people I know. And so to me, they're the winners. The ones that decided to go down the path as the non-nice guys, because they were very determined, they were very competitive. They were the ones, yes, they may have had glorious weekends, where they seem to have had it all, but I can tell you that's very much at surface level. And I'll talk to you more about that, because I got a good story about one of these guys, which I think sums it all up. So look out for that. It's about a guy who I know who lived in a chateau, and it's worth talking about. So, try and be affable, because it will get you far in life, in my opinion, and you won't end up dead early, surrounded by champagne bottles, prostitutes, and cocaine coming out of your nose. You'll just be an affable guy that people want to know. You'll rub along easy with people. Not cynical, not dark. It's an idea, isn't it? It's a simple word, affable. Yeah, I bet you've never tried it. Well, I haven't. I'm trying now. Affable. Let's see how it goes.